the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Delegations tonight. So we'll move and due to recognitions, but due to the road condition tonight, Faith Harper will not be here. We'll be recognizing her at a future meeting. Moving next to the continuous school improvement and updates, we have Davis Elementary School, Mr. Josh Porto, and also Little Birch Elementary after Mr. Porto. So tell us some good things.
Well, I have all sorts of good news for you. If it works. All right, so I'm gonna keep this one fairly short and sweet for us. We're still building a better world one student at a time. I've shared the mission statement with you all at the beginning of the year, and nothing there has changed. Our goals are still the same, but I'd still like to go over those with you. We have 4 goals this year. Goal 1 is a student achievement goal, and that's during this school year, Davis Elementary will increase percentage of students performing at or above grade level by at least 5 percentage points, both in reading and math. So our baseline last year, we were at 58% at or above in math and 59% at or above in reading. And that means by the end of this year, we need to be at 63% at or above in math and 64 at or above in reading. Behavior, the goal this year is to reduce referrals by at least 5% as documented in WEBIS. 2 years ago, we had 56 referrals. Last year, we had 27. And so the goal is that we need to be at 26 or below this year. And we'll talk about where we're at currently here in just a few minutes. Attendance, the goal for this year is to reduce our chronically absent by 3%. Last year's rate was 15%, so our goal is to be at 12% by the end of this school year. And then finally, career exploration and readiness. During the school year, Davis Elementary will enhance early career exploration by providing all students in K through 5 with at least 4 structured career awareness activities or events aligned to West Virginia career clusters in collaboration with local partners, community organization, and Braxton County CTE team. We've been very fortunate to work with the high school CTE students and staff. They've been bringing those to our students. We've also, Davis and Sutton Elementary has partnered with EdVenture, and we are piloting a Future Ready Families program, which is a career-based curriculum. And so once a week, as soon as we can get a full week of school in, for Davis Elementary, and I can't speak for what Sutton's doing, but we will be going in and teaching a career lesson to students in grades 3, 4, and 5. So those students are really getting hit hard this year with a career readiness. At the end of the school year, they will actually have a career fair where the students will actually, 5th grade, I believe is what we've talked with Ms. Backus at Davis. I think we're going to have them, right now our goal is to bring alumni of Davis Elementary and have them come in at the end of the year and talk about the different careers of people who have went through Davis Elementary. And I think that'll be kind of eye-opening for them so they realize it's not just about going to college, but there's lots of different careers out there for them. Normally I like to share with you some things that we've done. So at the end of the first 9 weeks, we had a kind of piggybacking, copying what the high school does with their PBIS incentive. So first 9 weeks, we took all of our students who had really good attendance. They had done their very best on the iReady. They had not had any discipline issues, and they were overall just doing their very best to be a Davis Dragon. So we took them to the bridge in Bridgeport, and they absolutely loved it. It was a great trip. So let's talk about where we're at academically currently. So we've had the beginning of the year iReady, we've done middle of the year iReady, and we've also done the first GSA benchmark. I'm not going to talk about GSA benchmark with you tonight because we have not completed the second round of that. I've already presented you with the data that we had previously, and I don't like to beat a dead horse. But when we look at the reading growth, students at or on grade level increased from 27% to 53%, so that was a 26 percentage point growth from the beginning of the year to the middle of the year in reading. The largest shift occurred in the first grade, one grade level below group, so that's our yellow. We saw the biggest reduction, so if you look, this top is the beginning of the year, and the bottom is our middle of the year. So we saw a big shrink in our yellow, and we saw a big growth in our green. Red is getting smaller, but again, the ones that we want to focus on is those students that are in the yellow, because those are the ones that we can move the easiest. Students performing 3 or more grade levels below decreased significantly, reflecting the impact of targeted interventions. Something that we have, I feel like Davis Elementary is well known for, is their Veterans Day program, which was in November. We had a great program this year. I think we had 32 veterans who showed up. We recognized many of them. And then, I don't like to brag, but Davis Elementary did show up for Central West Virginia Aging's essay contest. We had first and third place, if I remember correctly. First, try not to be biased at school. The kids say for the most part I'm not, but I was really proud of my daughter because she was the first place essay winner. And she was also proud because at that point she had more money than I did. So math growth, this is the one that I was probably the most excited about for Davis Elementary. Students were at or on grade level increased from 17.9% to 44%. That was a 35 percentage point growth from the beginning to the middle of the year. Most notable gains was in students reaching mid or above grade level, and substantial decreases occurred in both 1 grade level below and 2 grade levels below. So substantial in yellow and light red. And again, same thing, top chart is beginning of the year, bottom chart is middle of the year.
I want to say before you move on, so both charts, if you remember 3 years ago, you saw no green and mostly red. Every elementary school we had one.
Our teachers I have, hands down, I think I have one of the best staff in the county. They are a veteran group of teachers, and I believe they truly have ownership of their students, their curriculum, and what they're doing.
It's phenomenal. The change that's happened in the past 3 years.
So when we look at attendance, not a lot of change there from where I was here last time. Last time I was here, I think we were at 95.8%. Those 5 non-traditional days really helped our attendance because that was 5 days of 100% attendance. So we're still at 95.76 now. To be honest with you, though, prior to those 5 non-traditional days, we were at 93, so we'd slipped a little bit, but we're coming back up. And today we had a really good attendance day, which I'm not surprised. I think everybody was ready to come back for a regular day. I need to brag on our CIS, Ms. Pendry. She is an asset to Davis Elementary. So last year I told her I would like to do an attendance bulletin board. And so we came up with different ways to do it. And this year she's came up with that we do a different theme about every 2 months. We switch the theme. I forgot to take a picture of the beginning of the year, which was butterflies. And so we do a chart on the left side of where they're at, of their attendance. They need to be at 85% or higher for each class. And we even do the staff as well. And then that determines where they end up on the thing. So with the butterflies, it was the butterflies and they flew up on the board. And then if they got below 85%, we had a net on the thing and they got caught in the net. With the Christmas tree, each class was a Christmas bulb or in staff. And so when they fell below 85%, the bulb fell off the tree. Actually, we have a bucket of coal on the right-hand side and they got stuck in the bucket of coal. Now we're doing snowflakes until March when we get to have spring, which I think we're all very excited and ready for spring. And so, but I just wanted to share that. She also, when we knew the weather was coming up, we have a clothing closet, and she tapped into it and pulled some toboggans and gloves and scarves and put them in a box outside because we're in the middle of Gasaway. We have a lot of unhoused. And so I think sometimes we have to remember that we need to help more than just our kids. I think sometimes everybody needs a little help, and so we did take that opportunity. So Mrs. Pendry is a godsend. She's been a big help to us. In October, the Pulse was the church that was feeding our students that needed those backpacks to go home on the weekends. They were no longer able to do that, so Mrs. Pendry stepped up. She secured funds, and Mrs. Pendry and her husband pretty much have bagged all of our bags for the last 2 months. That's about 45 bags a week, so you can imagine that's a lot of packing. She's done a lot of that on her own time, so a lot of appreciation for Mrs. Pendry. Thankfully, Sutton Baptist will be taking over Davis Elementary's backpack starting in March. The German church out Chapel had been one of our biggest funders, and I think Richmond Chapel, Mid-State Church of God. There have been quite a few churches that have stepped up to help us. Our chronically absent is at 10.89%, so I think we've dropped a tenth of a point. So still pretty happy with that. But with that being said, our number of chronically absent students has reduced since I was here earlier this year. Behavior, naturally, that's a number that is going to go up. So I think when I was here last time, we were at 5. The week before we had the big snowstorm, that week alone is where my numbers went up. So, but listen, unless you've worked in a school, Mrs. Friend, back me up here, when that barometric pressure changes, everything changes. Personalities, attitudes.
Even the good kids.
Even the good kids get a little hairy. So if I'm getting a migraine and the kids are acting weird, I know that there's about to be a big storm. So what else have we been doing? Well, besides having snow days and non-traditional instructional days, today we celebrated the 100th day of school, which is why I'm in my Dragon 100 days through school. And so we had kids that did anything from put 100 stickers on their shirt to we had little old ladies and men coming to school with their walkers and their canes, and it was a great day. In all reality, though, I believe today is the 102nd day of school, and we had to bend a little bit.
We're bending a lot because ours isn't until next week.
So what else has been happening at Davis Elementary? I believe Dr. Tetrick shared with you, so far Davis Elementary has been awarded $17,512 in STREAM grants and education student incentives. And so we're doing a few different things with that. Currently, we are planning the Great Math Adventure for Pi Day. My teachers felt that we celebrate all academic areas, and they wanted something to celebrate math at school. So we're going to have the Great Math Adventure, and that's going to be a day full of mathematics. All of my teachers are coming up with their own stations, and the kids will move through the school and do different stations working on math projects. So we're pretty excited about that. Plus, we're going to have pie that day because it's Pi Day. Well, the day before Pi Day, so it's close enough. We've been having a major purging of rooms. Davis Elementary there's been a school of some sort in that location since 1906. Is that correct, Dr. Seal? That's correct. So you can imagine that we have some things that it's time for them to be file 13. So we've been purging. I've even gotten an email or two from the county office saying, you're overfilling the dumpsters, and Dr. Tetrick said, you keep overfilling those dumpsters. So
we'll pay the bill.
I've been getting rid of some stuff. I have a recreation of the Dragon's Lair. There were a few principals ago, they had a Dragon's Lair set up. I've turned that room into a storage room, and I've moved the Dragon's Lair. My Dragon's Lair now is a reward room where students go for their end of the 9 weeks incentives. We've purchased a basketball shoot game. We have foosball. I have 2 Nintendo Switches and televisions, so I mean, it's a great place, and so we're really excited to be able to utilize it. We repurposed the storage room behind the office into a conference space, and so that's now the place where we have IEPs and SAT meetings. We really did not have a meeting spot in the school, and so by doing this, it's directly in the office now, so that means no one's moving past the office. Parents, CPS comes in, they stay in the office area, but it's still in a place where they can still have some confidentiality. We're continuing to celebrate success, highlighting students and staff achievements through the Davis Delivery, which is my weekly newsletter to the staff, Class Dojo, monthly newsletter, and social media. I do a monthly newsletter to our community as a whole, and then I also do a newsletter to my staff each week. I try to include the county personnel in that as well so they can know what we're doing at Davis. I always had a dance at the end of the last meeting, so I felt like I needed to share my dance this month. But Miss Lambert at Sutton challenged me to a dance-off. These legs don't really move, so I made myself move, and everyone seemed to get an enjoyment out of that. So, questions?
You need anything? What do you need from us? Anything? Or is that too much of an open-ended question?
The lady that signs my paychecks here, so I think we're doing great. I'm hoping that we can pretty much retain the staff that we have currently for next year. I'd love to have a full-time Title I interventionist. That would be the big icing on the cake for us. But no, I mean, I think we do what we can do with what we have, and we try not to complain too much about it.
I think you're doing a great job down there, Mr. Porto.
Thank you.
And it was refreshing to see out there beating up that snow and ice.
Yeah, I think, Josh, you've done an excellent job. And I will tell you that we are looking at the funds, depends on what we have coming in. It's my goal to give a full-time, intervention. So I don't know at this point.
No, I just.
I definitely, it would be really nice to be able to give them, so I agree.
That's my wish. If I had a wish, that would be my wish list. At an auditorium, so.
Do you have a part-time?
Currently we have a full-time sub, which is not a problem at all because it's Donna Boer, who is phenomenal. Sutton and I share Donna Boer. I get her 2 days a week, they get her 2 days a week, and then we split the third day. Some days every other week. And we've seen a lot of growth with Ms. Boer's students. We're tracking them as they move along, and so every 9 weeks we're switching those groups out. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Great report, and your reading and math was wonderful.
It's all the teachers and the kids. They are knocking it out of the park.
Thank you for that great report. We move next to Ms. Pearson. Little Birch. More good news we have?
I think so.
Fantastic.
We'll keep on even under.
I'm again gonna try to move quickly through this because some of this data you get time after time after time, so I'm not gonna beat on that too much, but our mission is learning beyond expectations, and I'm trying to look at and to be very intentional at Little Birch about what do we expect from our students, and let's push them just a little bit further and a little bit further each year until we close that learning gap. Our goals are very similar to what Davis's are, that we want to achieve 5% or more growth in ELA and math over the previous year's scores. And looking at our iReady, we're working really, really hard on that. And I think that data will show here in just a moment. Let's see here. I am going to stop for the benchmark for just a minute because we did finish our science benchmark today. And I did have 3 students that are absent, so this could change just a little bit. But if you look here at our science benchmark back in October, we were at 16% proficient. Today, at the end of last year for the GSA, we were at 0. So then we were at 16, and today we were at 55% proficient. So that's a huge, huge improvement in a very short amount of time, especially after coming off of being off last week. I was very concerned about it, but our students really did show up, except for those 3 that were not in school today because of road conditions, but they really put in the work. And some of our students that scored at partial mastery got exceeds mastery today. So I was really impressed with them. Looking at our iReady diagnostic, on the bottom here is math. The top bar for math is our most recent. And as you can see, we went from 16% proficient at the beginning of the year to 37% proficient at the last diagnostic, which is 21% growth. And then in ELA, we went from 24% proficient to 58% proficient, which is 34% growth. I really look for the math to jump even higher. And part of that is because our communities and schools person is working, Mrs. Nicholas is working with the teachers, and she goes in and works with our students on multiplication, division, and we have some now into fractions. And they take like a 2-minute quiz twice every week, and to see who can get the most facts memorized. And that really is helping with their math, because then they don't have to spend all the time figuring out what that calculation is over the process. So we can focus more on the process.
And if you look at her diagnostic and you recall 3 years ago, what did you see? No green, mostly red. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't you have the highest increase in student achievement last year in the county?
We did.
And it looks like you're probably on target to do that again.
I hope so, because my teachers are working so hard. They never stop, ever. They never stop to even take just a breath for a minute. And I was feeling kind of guilty as I was telling you that I had to have knee surgery because I'm not going to be there. I'm not doing it. My teachers are doing it, but I feel like I need to be there to support that. But unfortunately, my knee feels otherwise. So looking at behavior, like Mr. Porto said, as we continue throughout the school year, it's going to be a little bit higher as we go throughout the school year. With the exception of a few incidents, we really haven't had too many major behavior referrals. Just until recently, we had less than 15. But in the last, month or so, things have gotten a little bit more. But like he said, with the barometric pressure change, a lot of behavior changed. So, and then some of it is other issues. But for the most part, we really don't have day-to-day behavior issues at our school. Walking down the hallway, things are pretty minor that I would correct as I go down the hallway. Today, I was sitting in the kindergarten classroom. One little fellow was just upset because his teacher wanted him to color in the whole mitten and not just mark the color on it. I mean, that's the day-to-day kind of things. I was just in there observing, and she was like, well, you see what's going on with him, why he doesn't want to do this. There were things going on at home, and he was just upset. He just needed to get it out. But by the end of the day, he got all the work done, and things were much better. But those are the types of small things that we have. Nothing major. I mean, it's kid stuff. So I'm happy to report that my kids are doing, for the most part, what they need to be doing. And as far as, like I said, our general behavior is pretty good. Our attendance, I still have 4 students with perfect attendance. WEVA shows a few more, but some of those students had transferred in and then transferred out. They had perfect attendance while they were there, but they may have only been there 30 days or 45 days. But I still have 4 that are enrolled coming every day that have perfect attendance. And I was happy to report this morning that we had the lowest chronically absent percentage in the county. That's not happened in a really long time. So I was very happy. Like he said, the non-traditional days did help, but we were still very close before those.
So Flatwoods Elementary is really gonna be mad.
Don't tell her.
She's gonna hear it.
Well, that's okay, because I'll be gone by then. But I will say that Franktown's close on my tail, so, and they're less than a percentage point away from us. So, our average daily attendance is 95.202. So I really can't say enough about my kids. They're showing up. They're doing what they need to be doing. And I feel like if they're doing what they need to be doing, I need to be doing what I need to do for them. So I was talking with my 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders today at lunch. Just as a whole group, we were having a conversation about some things that they might think were great to be rewards. And they had all kinds of ideas. And I want to work with our PTO and our staff to come up with to try to make some of those things actually happen. And most of them really don't cost a lot of money. So I would like to make as much of that happen as I can. And before I move on and forget this thought, I wanted to tell you that I worked with my staff and we went over into our STEAM lab. I forget what day it was, but a few weeks ago, we got everything finally organized and up on the shelf so it can actually be used as a lab. And we're getting ready to start having more class sessions over there so that teachers can actually go over there, use the lab as a lab, and then come back to their classroom and they don't have to move things back and forth. So that was a huge accomplishment and it's been a long time coming. Now, it's not perfect, but it's much better than it was. And this is what I was talking about with our students who knew their multiplication facts and division facts. I have 18 students who have mastered multiplication facts 1 through 12, and 13 of them are now working on division facts. 5 of those have mastered also their division facts and are now working on fractions. So that's a huge accomplishment because when I first came back to Little Birch, I had 3. So I can't say enough about the teachers and Mrs. Nicholas working with these kids to make it important to them. It's not just important to me, but why is it important to them? So we worked really hard, and some of these kids have had to push past barriers to get that. But they've done it. They've put in the work. Dr. Steele, this one's for you. Our enrollment. I have a new student in 3rd grade enrolling. He was in the process of enrolling today. And I have a 3-year-old that is going to be joining us from the Birth to 3 program. So that puts us up to 71. What is it?
It's the same number as Burnsville.
With my new one today, I was going to be ahead of them.
No,
Because the last time I talked to you, we were the same too. What'd you say, Mr. Porto?
So we have 141.
Anyway, I would like to thank our partners in education as well. Bicon and State Farm, they've stepped up this year. We didn't have any partners in education, and these guys have stepped up and helped with that. Ashley Dangerfield came out for our trunk or treat. She brought her whole gang, and they dressed up in UFO costumes and all kinds of stuff. So I wanted to say thank you to them. And Bicon isn't even in West Virginia, but they have a lot of employees and families here, and they stepped up to help out as well.
To tell you one thing, Icon started here. I don't know how many people understand that. When I was a little guy, Icon, GNL Construction, it was right down the street below Davis Crane.
Oh, really? I did not know that. The last point I want to make is behind every data point is a student ready to achieve greatness. And I think that it's our job to pull that out of them and make them want to learn and want to achieve greatness. So we're trying to overcome those barriers, and I have to say thank you to the high school and Ms. Stover and her staff for coming out. A lot of our kids don't have the exposure to those CTE pathways, but bringing them to the schools has really helped them see that there's something else besides just going to college, because college isn't for everyone. Some of us, like myself, change their majors a few times before they decide what they really want to do. And sometimes people just want to go straight to work. And that program lets those kids see that there is something else out there for them. So I wanted to say thank you, Ms. Stover and Mr. McElwain. I know he'll be surprised that I said his name, but but I do have to thank those guys for coming out. They show up for our kids anytime they're asked. So and I appreciate you guys too. So that's all I have. Do you guys have any questions for me?
What can we do, or do you need anything?
Honestly, I don't know of anything that we need at the present moment, just your continued support. Our PTO is looking at different options to replace some playground equipment, but I think that we're working on that as a group and as a whole, and if there's something that you guys could help with, then I could maybe present that at a later time. But as far as academics and the things that we need at the school, I think we're on pretty good track. About anything I've asked for, Dr. Teacher. I'll try not to ask for a lot.
No, they're doing a phenomenal job. I mean, I'm impressed. The teachers are proud. Parents are happy. Just a lot of positive things going on there. And the student achievement, the growth has been unbelievable.
Thank you.
So good leadership.
I appreciate that, but I have to say, my teachers, they're the ones putting in the hard work. I try to be in the trenches with them, but they're the ones in the trenches every day fighting those battles, trying to get all the students to their full potential.
Well, great report, Ms. Pierce, Ms. Brand.
That's all
Still
right.
want to call you Ms. Pierce.
That's all right.
Sorry.
My husband isn't watching, I guarantee, because he's working out on the interstate for the state road, so he's at work right now.
Great report, and just keep up the great work.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
You can roll with that, too.
I'm trying, I'm trying.
We'll pray for complete knee recovery.
I appreciate that. I just hope that this surgery will fix it all and be done.
Okay, well, finish with school improvement for the night. Both great reports. Thank you, Mr. Porto, Ms. Brand, and don't forget my cake. I know you won't.
Special player reminder.
I'm giving him such a hard time over the cake story.
There might be 2 cake carriers tomorrow.
All right, we'll move next to consent agenda items, approval of the minutes of January 20th and the payment of the bills. Entertain a motion. I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of January 20th and the payment of bills. Any discussion on that motion? No discussion. Those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Moving next to personnel, we have some updated personnel here. And we have an employment recommendation of Brandon Smith, substitute teacher, all locations. Service personnel, don't see any of those, but extracurricular recommendations, employment of Kenneth Young, assistant coach, Braxton County High School wrestling. Nathaniel Lynch, assistant coach, baseball, Braxton County Middle School. James King, track, Braxton County Middle School. We also have permission to post and hire first grade ECAT for Burnsville Elementary. Approve the following volunteers for Braxton County Schools: Ashley Lunsford, Cynthia Sprout, Donna Singleton, India Henline, Linda Leggett, Stephanie Fowler, and Tina Wolverton. Approval of employee leave request from Jennifer Arambula, leave of absence from February 26th and continuing for approximately 4 weeks using the family medical and donated. Those are your recommendations on the personnel end.
I'll make a motion that we accept the personnel, request from the superintendent.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded to approve the personnel recommendations of the superintendent. Any discussion on the motion? No discussion. Those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Superintendent updates. Dr. Dietrich, do you have any good news or bad news?
I don't have any updates other than everything seems to be going well. I will ask the board to have a special session to discuss the upcoming, building of the sports complex. And so I will ask that to be noticed prior to the next board meeting.
All right, sounds good. Great. Thank you for that. Moving on to new business, approval of the issuance of tiered continuing education credit for CPR, first aid instruction and certification.
Yes, if we, and I support doing that, if we have a policy that approves it, then the Department of Ed will recognize this. And for our CTE instructors, that's something, especially, your highball areas or your industrial type areas, that CPR, first aid instruction, those are the types of certifications our students get. Our instructors, have to support that. So again, I do support, approving that for them.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the issuance of tiered continuing education credit for CPR, first aid instruction, and certification.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded to approve the issuance of tiered continuing education credit for CPR, first aid instruction and certification. Any discussion on the motion? No discussion. Those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Moving next to permission and approval for Braxton County Middle School 8th grade social studies class and chaperone to attend the annual youth and government event at the West Virginia State Capitol, January 28th through January 30th. So that would be.
Yeah, and that, yes, we got that, so I'm asking it to be retroactively approved.
Okay.
It came in after.
All right, you've heard the request.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Braxton County Middle School 8th grade West Virginia Studies class and chaperones to attend the annual youth and government event at the West Virginia State Capitol, which took place January 28th through January 30th, 2026.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on that motion to retroactively approve that trip in youth and government? No discussion. Those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Permission and approval for the high school honor band students and chaperone to attend and play with students from around North Central West Virginia at the WVU Creative Arts Center, February 12th through February 14th.
I just appreciate that we have a band director that's ambitious enough to want to take these students and have them perform, so fully support.
Good deal.
I move we grant permission and approval for Braxton County High School honor band students and chaperone to attend and play with students from around North Central West Virginia at WVU Creative Arts Center, Morgantown, February 12th through February 14th.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion to approve our high school band to attend and play at the WVU Creative Arts. Any discussion on that motion? No discussion. Those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Permission and approval to place on public comment for 20 days policy 1004, which is proposed policy revision, renaming and renumbering safety and loss prevention. which is currently policy 3604.
So, 1004, safety and loss prevention, this revision changes the name from safety to safety and loss prevention. I'm also requesting it be renumbered. The current policy is 3604 and is in the section of the policy manual that deals with employees. It makes better sense to place this in a section of the policy manual that deals with organization and administration. So I'm proposing the policy number be changed to 1004. This is also a policy that is required by BRIM. The current policy is outdated and places the responsibility for implementation on an assistant superintendent, which of course we do not have. It was last revised in 2010. The proposed revision removes those references and updates the section on the school safety committee to bring into compliance with West Virginia Code. It also establishes the responsibilities of supervisor and school administrators, staff, students, parents, and guardians. It also updates the policy language related to school crisis response plans we are required to submit to WVE annually. The policy also includes other loss prevention measures to guard against theft and damage to inventory and property, prevention and mitigation of accidents and injuries, promote the acceptable use of technology and internet safety, and as well as staff and student compliance with anti-bullying, harassment, and discrimination policies.
All right, you've heard her recommendation.
I'll make a motion that we approve policy 1004 on public comment for 20 days, which is proposed policy revision, renaming and renumbering safety and loss prevention, which is a change from policy 3604.
I'll second it. Okay, all right, it's gonna work a little, everything I said, it's right down there, I wasn't
We don't
sure.
have Larry, you can't hear us.
Okay, you've heard the motion to place the policy 1004 and rename, which is currently policy 3604, out on a 20-day comment period. Any discussion on that motion? No discussion. Those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Board member remarks. Are you able to talk, Lisa?
I'm going to go ahead and just let you guys go.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
My goodness.
I
Kevin?
I can't say ditto. Then I gotta say something. No, I'll just say, one, for everybody to be safe and stay warm out there. And really appreciated what Mr. Forte said about taking care of the communities. Our schools are part of those communities. And providing for the local people as much as we possibly can. It just helps and endears that school in their minds. And take care of our own is what we're focused on here in Braxton County. Also, just great reports from both Davis and Little Bird. Just amazing work that our professionals continue to do out there across the county. Once again, in a non-levy, rich county, I guess, or a poor county, rural county, that we're still breaking the boundaries of what can be done. And just proud of the superintendent and the work that her team's doing, as well as what our teachers, our service personnel, our bus drivers, just professionals across the board are doing without all the fanfare. Just awesome job for everyone. Not to mention all the sports team and parents still supporting the teams and all the games in this weather that we've been having. It's been difficult for a lot of people. So just thank you all once again for what you do for our county.
Thank you, Kevin. Larry?
I always try to give some kudos to the sports teams. Our wrestling teams did very well this past week at WSACs. We have a new young man that's a very good wrestler named Braxton Smith that has set a new record for most career wins. And I believe he won the SECs his weight class too. Our men's basketball team's doing fantastic. So, The girls won last night. Things are going real well.
Okay. Yes.
Eben, to what Larry and Kevin both said, also the two reports we got from Little Birch and Davis were pretty positive reports that showed increases that are occurring, and hopefully that'll translate into our general assessment scores being up there again this year, as they have been, on the incline rather than the decline. This is a tough winter, and we're gonna make it through, though.
Well, thank you, Kenna.
I called off school 13 days in 1977, 78.
That was a bad winter.
In case somebody doesn't remember.
I remember.
I know it's a tough decision, and people were really complaining at me because they figured I shouldn't be having school every day. But that year it got below 20 degrees and stayed there. Never got above 20 for over a month, and it started on like the 22nd day of December and lasted until about the 26th day of January. So we've had some tough winters before. The water lines froze underneath the main street in Sutton, 3 foot deep. The cold really goes down, and it was starting to go down if we hadn't had this little break a couple days ago.
That's why he's my favorite superintendent in 1977.
The only one.
He was our favorite, wasn't he?
And how I remember that was we had a new house under construction, and it was my husband's grandmother's old home place, and it didn't have basement underneath, and our new house was far enough along that we could move in. We had free gas, and so all the water lines froze. And I said, it's time to move on up the road. Not quite finished, but we're leaving. But I just want to reiterate what my fellow board members have also commented on tonight. Kudos to our sports teams and our academics, and the great reports from Little Birch and Davis, and the growth that our elementary schools are experiencing in terms of achievement. Looking back where we were 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and our superintendent mentioned 3, we're really on the move here. And I defended public schools all week in various social media comments. I feel like we have to do that, and if you all get that opportunity to defend our public schools, we are at a threshold in this state that really, really worries me on school choice. I'm not opposed to school choice. However, I don't think we rob Peter to pay Paul either. And I'm very fearful when this legislative session is over, the damage that can be done to our public schools. So I just ask that publics out there watching tonight that we have to speak up and stand up for public schools and the proper funding and adequate funding to support our schools. That's all I have to say tonight, but with all of the comments and everything, understand we might have some sleep roads as we depart here tonight, so pray that we get home okay, and I don't know if our superintendent's going to call off school, or she's already done that, or
We're just a monitor, so.
you're monitoring.
Monitoring.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody's out there anxiously
All the kids
waiting.
are monitoring.
All the kids are monitoring, but
Take any bets.
have a great week and a safe week, and I'll declare this meeting adjourned. It is 6:55.
4 counties, it's called paid for.